What happens when we feel afraid or whenever fear is instilled in us? Kapag natakot tayo, hindi tayo basta nakakagalaw. Kaya yung iba ang gagawin, mananakot. Tatakutin ka para hindi ka makakilos, hindi ka makapagsalita. Kung takot tayo sa isang insekto, hindi tayo basta-basta lumalapit at baka iniisip nating makagat tayo o di kaya ay masaktan tayo kapag nalapit tayo sa isang insekto o hayop na kinakatakutan natin. O di kaya kapag tinatakot tayo, para bang pinipigilan tayong makakilos nung nananakot sa atin. When we are afraid, one thing is for sure, it paralyzes us. When we are afraid, that fear stops us from moving. Why? Because it is either we are making sure that we will be safe and no harm will come upon us. That's why we calculate our steps, or we just simply don't know what to do. But what happens when we are excited? On the other end, when we are excited, we feel so energetic. Kapag natatakot tayo ay hindi tayo basta nakakakilos, kapag na-excite naman tayo, para bang punong-puno tayo ng buhay. When we feel pumped, we feel pumped up when we are excited. We feel that we can do anything. When we are excited for something, we can't wait for that something to happen. If we are excited for a trip or for a party, sometimes we cannot even sleep because we already want that experience. We would want that event to happen already. Kaya kahit papano, buhay na buhay tayo kapag na-excite tayo. Gusto nating mangyari na yung isang bagay na inaabangan natin o inaasahan natin. But too much excitement can also make us underestimate situations or miscalculate our actions. Kaya hindi basta-basta dapat nagpapadala sa excitement. Minsan sa sobrang excited nating makapunta sa outing, makapunta sa party, may nakakalimutan tayo. Minsan sobrang excited nating gawin yung mga bagay-bagay, pero yung mga mahalagang paghahanda, nakakalimutan natin. That's why we are also reminded not to be too much excited so that we can still think or be conscious of our own actions. If we look back at our readings, somehow there is that sense of fear that is being manifested in our readings. Jeremiah and Jesus had a lot of enemies, and their enemies were trying to silence them. The detractors of Jeremiah were on the watch of his every step. Binabantayan yung bawat gawain niya para may masuplong, para may magawa sila sa kanya. They were anticipating for one wrong move so that they can have something against him. On the other end, the Jews were trying to stone Jesus because of what they heard from him. And if we could imagine their situation, that fear, that threat, should have stopped them from their actions. We cannot say that there is excitement in their situation. Wala naman ho siguro sa atin na ma-excite kapag may nagsasabing may death threat ka. Wala naman ho siguro sa ating kikiligin sa tuwa kapag merong gustong manakit sa atin. No one in his right mind would be excited if people are watching or calculating your moves, waiting for you to commit a mistake. Maybe for the enemies of Jeremiah and Jesus, they were excited to see any blunder that they would do. They were excited to see any mistake that Jeremiah and Jesus could do so that they have something, they have enough reason for them to hurt them. And if we look into our Christian lives, fear and threats will always be there. But the question is, Will we allow those fears and threats to stop us? We can be afraid to make mistakes, but mistakes are not necessarily sins. That is the only kind of mistake that we should be afraid of. But there are mistakes that will help us learn. There are mistakes that will help us grow in wisdom. Or there are times that people can also threaten us because we stand up for what is right. We stand up for what is true. And if we find ourselves in those situations, we remember Jeremiah and Jesus. They may have felt some fear, but they did not let that fear intimidate them because at the end of the day, they know their identity. And because they know their identity, they know their true mission. But even if they were not intimidated, they were not also excited to conquer or overcome their enemies and detractors because they know that that excitement can also cloud their judgment. We beg for this grace, the grace of being wise in our actions, the grace of not letting fear intimidate us, the grace of realizing our true identity so that we can carry out our true mission.